It is with great pleasure that I find myself as a speaker here in the AgriBusiness Forum. I am Phoebe Koundouri. I'm a professor at the Athens University of Economics and Business. Today, I'm here in order to talk about a major initiative that I coordinate. I'm going to talk about the UN SDSN Global Climate Hub. So it is a global hub for climate. It falls under the UN network that focuses on solutions about sustainable development. And I have been lucky enough to collaborate with accomplished colleagues all around the world in order to develop a structure that will try to support all countries around the globe in order for them to develop detailed pathways to move towards climate neutrality and resilience. It is amidst this mesh of crises we've been faced with, the pandemic, the financial crisis, with the inflation trends, the climate change, the collapse of all the ecosystems, a war that further aggravates food security, food crisis, as well as the population crisis and the inequality crisis that we're currently going through. Personally, I am convinced that there is a blueprint, there is a manual, and the 2030 Agenda of the United Nations has set 17 goals and 169 sub-goals with hundreds of KPIs in order to measure and assess the implementation of those goals at national, local levels, or even at the level of each business. Therefore, it is a systematic and comprehensive framework in the context of which we will be able to develop technological, political, and financing solutions. Those solutions can give a great boost towards this transition to sustainability. This means that we'll be able to address and tackle all the crises that we're being faced with simultaneously. And it is exactly in this context that the Alliance of Excellence for Research and Innovation on IFORIA operates with 5 research sites for social and technological innovation accelerators, as well as with deeply rooted collaborations with international and European networks. And I am either the lead or co-chair of many of them. That's a great source of pleasure for myself and an honor. And I also participate in the World Academy of Science, Academia Europaea, and the Inter-Academy Partnership. It is in this framework and in the context of the projects that have been funded through the Alliance of Excellence for Research, Innovation and IFORIA project, we have the creation of the UN Solutions Network on Sustainable Development, because it aims at providing advice, at developing extensive and detailed programs for every country. All these things will be based and rely on science so that every country will be able to structure the data and the technologies they have available so that they can get as fast as possible to climate neutrality. I do apologize, I'm not there with you because as I return from COP27 at Sharm el-Sheikh, where I literally run a 14 speeches marathon, I contracted COVID, and that's the only reason that keeps me away from you today. And this is the reason why I had to be there at COP27 in order to highlight the contribution of this climate hub. Every year, the SDR network measures of the achievement of the goals. This is the image for the year 2022 about the goal number 13 on climate action. Everything that is marked in red means that it is too challenging, and there are many challenges ahead of us for the accomplishment of the goal. The green color means that the goal has been achieved. That's the current situation, and that's the extension of the situation for the years 2023-2030. So, if we stay on the same track, we will not be ready to meet those goals in 2030. And we see that, yes, indeed, progress has been made. What we expect from COP27 that is nearing completion by the end of this week, we will see that if we sum up all the promises undertaken by member states regarding climate neutrality, we will be in a safe position to say that we're in plus 1.2, or that we will not exceed 1.5 in terms of the average temperature of the planet as it had been prevalent in the pre-industrial era. And we don't want to exceed that by the end of the century. And of course, this is an everlasting goal, but we need to ensure that the projection by the end of the century will not go beyond 1.5. To be frank, it is feasible to persuade countries to make this pledge. It is feasible now. Maybe 50 years ago it was not feasible, but today no country will say that no, I don't think the climate change is a problem, or that climate crisis is something to be addressed, or that no action should be taken. Yes, of course, everyone will say that they need to cut back on their CO2 emissions, they need to reduce the methane emissions. Right now, we have 100 countries that have pledged for climate neutrality by 2050. Some of them will get there before 2050, and we also have China for 2060 and India that will reach this goal by 2070. But what's the hard part here? Well, the adversity here is that making the pledge is one thing, pledging about climate neutrality by 2050, and implementing all the steps that are required to take you there, that's another story. This is what we're trying to do through this hub. In collaboration with 1,700 universities, more or less, that are members of the Sustainable Development Solutions Network, and they're scattered all around the globe, we will co-design the national pathways and the regional pathways of technology, politics, and financial support. All that with a view to supporting countries in making this transition. We talk about a highly meticulous work. And this is something that has always been undertaken in the systemic framework of the 17 goals and the 7 transformations that should be implemented in order for those 17 goals to be implemented. Those transformations have to do with education, health, the lignite phase out of the industry, sustainable management of food production, use of water and the ocean, sustainable development of cities and communities, as well as the digitization. Now, our hub hosts 9 different units. Those 9 different units show that it is high time someone managed the collaboration among those units. The first unit has to do with data about climate as well
πλατφόρμες
as the digital
οι οποίες
platforms
χρησιμοποιούνται για να μαζεύουν και να
that are being
χρησιμοποιούν τα
used to
δεδομένα.
collect
Η
and to
δεύτερη
use data.
μονάδα αφορά
The
την
second unit
ατμοσφαιρική
has to do
φυσική, η
with
οποία είναι το
atmospheric
υπόβαθρο
physics,
αυτών των μονοπατιών προς την
which is the
κλιματική
background
ουδετερότητα.
against
Η
which all
τρίτη
these pathways are being
μοντελοποίηση
built on.
της ενέργειας και του κλίματος.
Thirdly,
Η
we have the
ενέργεια είναι
climate and
το
energy modeling.
βασικό,
We
ένα από τα
know
δύο
that
βασικά
energy
συστήματα
is one of the two
το οποίο πρέπει να
main systems
μετασχηματιστεί ούτως ώστε να
that
πάμε σε
should be
κλιματική
transformed in
ουδετερότητα.
order
Το τέταρτο
to
αφορά τη
reach
χρήση γης
climate neutrality.
και
The
το
third
κλίμα.
has to do
Το
with land
πέμπτο
use and
την
climate.
υγεία και το κλίμα. Το
The
έκτο
fifth
αφορά
unit
την
has to do with
καινοτομία και την
climate and health.
επιτάχυνση
Six has to do
αυτής,
with
ούτως ώστε
innovation, the
οι λύσεις για
acceleration of
κλιματική
innovation,
ουδετερότητα να ανάρθουν στην
so
αγορά.
that we can have climate neutral
Το
and resilient solutions.
η επόμενη μονάδα αφορά την
The
οικονομική
next unit
ανάλυση
has to
της
do with the
μετάβασης, ποιες
financial
πολιτικές,
analysis
ποιες
of this transition,
χρηματοδοτήσεις,
which
ποιες
are the
είναι οι
policies, which are
επιπτώσεις
the
στην
financing
αγορά
modalities,
εργασίας,
which are the
ποια οικονομικά
consequences
εργαλεία
on
πρέπει
labor
να
market, which are the financial
χρησιμοποιηθούν,
tools that should
ποια
be used,
επενδύσεις πρέπει να
which
χρηματοδοτηθούν
are
και
the
από πού.
investments that should be funded and by
Το
whom.
8ο unit αφορά τα
The eighth
λεγόμενα
unit
ζωντανά
has to do
εργαστήρια
with
που θα
so-called
δημιουργηθούν σε
living
κάθε
labs
χώρα
that will be
σε
created
εθνικό επίπεδο,
in every
ούτως ώστε
country.
να
They will be created at a
συσχεδιάσουν
national
όλοι οι
level so
stakeholders
that
τα
all
μονοπάτια,
stakeholders
ούτως ώστε όλοι οι stakeholders να
co-design those
νιώθουν
pathways.
κάτοχοι
This
αυτών των
means that all
μονοπατιών,
stakeholders
να
will feel
νιώθουν
like
ότι
they
αυτοί τα
own the
σχεδιάσανε και άρα
pathway,
όταν
will feel
έρθει η
like it's
ώρα της
their own
εφαρμογής
baby. So
να
when the time
είναι
comes to
θετικοί
implement
ως
them,
προς την εφαρμογή, να
they
έχουν τη
will be
γνώση
more than
αλλά
positive
και
or
την
eager to implement them. They will also
σιγουριά
have the
ότι η
knowledge and the
εφαρμογή τους
confidence,
θα
and the
οδηγήσει
implementation
στην
of those
κλιματική
pathways
ουδετερότητα
will
με
lead to
τρόπο που
climate
αυτούς
neutrality.
δεν θα τους επιβαρύνει, με
All
τρόπο που θα
that
τους
in a
προστατεύει και
way
κοινωνικά
that
και
will
οικονομικά και
offer social,
περιβαλλοντικά. Και το
financial,
τελευταίο μας
environmental
unit είναι
protection.
το unit που
Our
αφορά
last unit
την
is a unit
παιδεία,
that has to do with
την
education,
επιμόρφωση
training,
και της ανάπτυξη δεξιοτήτων που θα είναι
upskilling, and
σημαντικά,
reskilling,
ούτως ώστε
because we talk about
κάποιος
the development of
stakeholder να
skills that are
μπορέσει να γίνει
important
μέρος
for those
αυτής
stakeholders
της μετάβασης.
to be part of this
Κάθε
transition
unit έχει
process.
τη δική του ομάδα,
Every
τα δικά
unit
του
has its
έργα,
own
τους
team,
δικούς του
its own
παγκόσμιους
projects,
collaborators,
its own
συνεργάτες
global
και έχει
collaborators and
ήδη
associates.
αναπτύξει τους τρόπους με
And
τους
it has
οποίους
also
θα
developed its
πορευτεί.
own
Παραδείγματος
ways
χάρη το
to move
Data
forward.
Unit,
For
μιλάμε
example,
για ήδη μια
in the case of
μεγάλη
data
υποδομή
unit, we talk about a major infrastructure
δεδομένων, η οποία
of
υποστηρίζεται από
things
το
that
OpenAI,
are
τη
being
βασική πλατφόρμα
supported
της
by
Ευρώπης
the
για ανοιχτή
open platform of
επιστήμη,
Europe.
και αυτή η
And
πλατφόρμα, η οποία είναι
this
AI
platform
driven, είναι
is
Artificial
AI
Intelligence driven
driven, meaning
πλατφόρμα, θα
artificial
αποτελέσει
intelligence
και
driven.
το είναι βάση
So
δεδομένων
this
και
platform will
ανάλυσης
be the
για το Global
database
Climate Hub. Και
for the
επίσης να πω
Global
ότι
Climate Hub.
ήδη έχουμε
I would also
αρχίσει
like to
με μια
say that we
μεγάλη
have
βάση
already
δεδομένων,
started
η
with an
οποία έχει
extensive
μαζέψει
database
εκατομμύρια σχετικά
that has
data
accumulated
sets,
millions of relevant
αποτελέσματα,
data sets,
δημοσιευμένα
results that are
papers,
either
policy
published in
papers
form
που
of
αφορούν
papers
τα
or policy
SDGs και
papers
βέβαια
that have
το
to do with
SDG
SDGs.
Climate Action,
And of course, the
σχεδόν
SDG climate
1,5
actions
εκατομμύριο research projects.
that
Αν τα βάζω όλα
comprise
τα
almost
SDGs μαζί,
1.5
γιατί
million
πρέπει να ξέρουμε
research
ότι αυτά είναι
products.
ένα
If we
ολιστικό
combine all
συστημικό
these things
framework,
together, because we
κανένα
talk about a
SDG
holistic,
δεν
comprehensive
είναι
framework,
πλήρως εφαρμόσιμο χωρίς
no
τα άλλα
single
SDGs
SDG
να
can be
έχουν εφαρμοστεί.
implemented if all the others
Το
are not
unit
implemented.
που αφορά στο atmospheric
The unit
physics
that has to do with
επίσης
atmospheric
βασίζεται στην
physics
Ακαδημία
is also
Αθηνών, που
based
είναι
on the
σημαντικός
Academy of
contributor στο
Athens.
Intergovernmental
This
Panel
academy is
for
a key
Climate Change, στο
contributor
IPCC report,
of
με
the
ήδη αρκετά
IPCC,
projects να το υποστηρίζουν. Το
already
Climate
measuring
and Energy
numerous projects
Systems
supporting
Modeling
that. We
επίσης
also
έχει
have
ήδη
the Climate
αναπτύξει
and
πολλά
Energy Systems
μοντέλα
Modeling Unit that
για
has
να
developed
κάνει τη
numerous models
μοντελοποίηση
that
του
will
ενεργειακού
enable the
συστήματος
modeling
και
of
πώς
the
αυτό
energy
θα
system
γίνει ένα ενεργειακό σύστημα
and
που
the way
θα
in which it
καθορίζεται,
can
που
become
βασίζεται στην
an
καθαρή
energy system
ενέργεια.
that relies on
Το
clean
unit που
energy.
αφορά της χρήσης γης και
The
το
unit that
κλίμα,
has to
πάρα
do
πολύ
with land
σημαντικό
use
και
and
αυτό για
climate
τις
is
επιπτώσεις
equally
στο κλίμα, με
important
πάρα πολλά έργα
regarding the
και πάρα
repercussion and the
πολλά
impact on the climate,
μοντέλα.
with
Εδώ
many
πέρα σημαντικό
models, many
ρόλο παίζει
projects,
η κτηνοτροφία,
and of course, livestock breeding holds a
τα
key role
δάση,
here,
οι λίμνες,
forests, lakes,
η βιοποικιλότητα, και οι
biodiversity
επιπτώσεις
are
του
equally
κλίματος σε
important,
αυτά,
along
καθώς
with the
επίσης
impact
και
of
η
climate
μείωση ή η
change on
αύξηση
that,
αυτών,
as
τι
well as their
επίπτωση
reduction
έχει
or increase, and
στα
the
ακραία καιρικά
relevant
φαινόμενα που
repercussion on extreme
σχετίζονται με την
weather
κλιματική αλλαγή.
conditions that are
Climate and
linked to
health,
climate
επίσης
change.
πολύ σημαντικό,
Now,
ποιες είναι οι
climate and health,
επιπτώσεις
that's
της
another
κλιματικής κρίσης
important
στην
unit
υγεία και τη φυσική υγεία, αλλά
addressing
και την
the
πνευματική
impact of
υγεία.
climate crisis on
Καινοτομία πολύ
physical and mental
σημαντική.
health.
Η καινοτομία
Innovation,
είναι
that's
αυτή
another
που μας
important
δίνει τη
unit,
δυνατότητα να
because
κάνουμε τη
innovation
μετάβαση
is the
στην
thing
κλιματική
that allows us to
ουδετερότητα,
make this
τεχνολογική και
transition to
κοινωνική
energy
καινοτομία, όταν αυτή προσφέρεται
neutrality.
σε
And of course, we
οικονομικές
want that
λύσεις, σε
to be
λύσεις που είναι
offered
ανταγωνιστικές
through
με το
sustainable
κόστος
and
των ορυκτών
competitive
καυσίμων. Και ποια
solutions
είμαστε στη
in
θέση
terms
να
of the cost of
λέμε
fossil
ότι πια
fuel.
οι ανανεώσιμες πηγές
Today,
ενέργειας, η
we
ψηφιακή
are
οικονομία, τα
able to
nature-based
talk about
solutions
circular
είναι
economy,
πιο
nature-based
φθηνά
solutions,
από
and
ότι τα
those things
ορυκτά
are more
καύσιμα.
cost
Και εδώ
efficient
πέρα
compared
να
to fossil
αναφέρω
fuel.
πολύ γρήγορα και κλείνω ότι έχουμε δύο
At this
μεγάλους
point, I'd like to
accelerators,
mention that we
120
have two big
startup σε
accelerators with 120
climate
startups
adaptation, ό,τι
on
έχει να
climate
κάνει με
adaptation.
προστασία από
Everything that
πλημμύρες,
has to
δασικές
do with
πυρκαγιές,
flood
καύσονες
protection, wildfire
και ούτε
protection,
καθεξής, καθώς επίσης
drought,
άλλο ένα
and another
accelerator που αφορά
climate
κλιματικά
accelerator
ουδέτερη
that has to
ναυτιλία και
do with
λιμάνια
climate
με
neutral
30
shipping and ports,
startups.
with 30
Ένα
startups
από τα
participating.
τελικά units είναι αυτό που αφορά την οικονομική ανάλυση, πώς θα γίνει η μετάβαση
One of
δίκαια, με
those
ποιες
units has to
πολιτικές,
do
με ποια
with the
χρηματοπιστωτικά
just and
εργαλεία
fair
και με
transition.
ποιο
It also provides for
πρόγραμμα
the financial tools and aids
επενδύσεων
that
και
will
πώς
be
αυτά
provided,
θα
the
έχουν
investments program,
θετική
and how all
επίδραση
these
και
things can
στην
bring about a
παραγωγή
positive
θετικών
impact
αναπτυξιακών
on
πολλαπλασιαστών, αλλά
the
καθώς επίσης
development
και θετικών
and proliferation of the results.
πολλαπλασιαστών όσον αφορά τις
And
θέσεις εργασίας.
we also want to ensure
Τέλος,
that we'll also
τα
be able to
National
boost
Living
the jobs
Labs, εδώ πέρα
creation.
συνσχεδιάζουμε
Last
με
but
τους
not least,
εθνικούς
we have
stakeholders
the National
τα
Living
μονοπάτια
Labs.
λύσεων, ούτως
We are
ώστε να
there with the
έχουν
national
ownership των
stakeholders
λύσεων
in
και να
order to
μπορούμε να πάμε
design those
άμεσα στην
pathways so that they can
εφαρμογή.
have
Και
ownership of the
τέλος,
solutions
πάντα
and opt
όλα
for direct
κρίνονται
implementation.
από
And
τη
of course,
γνώση μας, από το
everything
πόσο
is being
καταλαβαίνουμε
considered on the
το
basis of
πρόβλημα της
our
κλιματικής
knowledge
αλλαγής είναι
on whether we
σημαντικό, πόσο
realize that the
καταλαβαίνουμε ότι
climate
μπορούμε να το
problem is
επηρεάσουμε,
there, is
να
real.
λύσουμε αυτό το
We
πρόβλημα και
try to
πόσο
tackle and address it,
είμαστε ενήμεροι για τις
and we
νέες
need to ensure
τεχνολογίες και
that we're up to
κοινωνικές
date
δομές
regarding
που
latest
μπορούν
technologies
να φέρουν
and
λύσεις. Ο
social
συνδυασμός
structures
αυτός είναι
that
που
can
μπορεί
offer
να λύσει το
solutions.
πρόβλημα
It is this
και να μας
combination
κάνει
that can
να
provide
πληρώνουμε λιγότερα
a
για
solution.
ενέργεια
This
που
is
δεν
what
επιβαρύνει
can
το
help
περιβάλλον
us pay
και με
less for
τρόπο
energy that is not a
που η
burden to the
κοινωνική
environment, and in a
συνοχή
way that
κρατάται
social cohesion
χωρίς
will be
να
preserved and
διαρριγνύεται.
maintained.
Αυτή είναι η δουλειά μας. Με πάρα πολύ
That's what we
χαρά
do.
οποιοσδήποτε επιστήμονας θέλει να συνεισφέρει σε αυτήν
If
την
you would
παγκόσμια
like to
προσπάθεια
join
είναι
us,
πραγματικά ευπρόσδεκτος.
you
Σας
are more
ευχαριστώ
than
και
welcome.
πάλι για τη
Thank you very
δυνατότητα να
much for your
μιλήσω και
attention. Thank you
πραγματικά
for giving me the
στενοχωριέμαι
opportunity
γιατί
to
δεν
address you, and
είμαι
it is with
εκεί
great pity that I'm
με
not there with
φυσική του
you
παρουσία.
today. Thank you.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ.